I want to actually jump into this though because I've been waiting to talk with you guys about this, and you brought it up.
So
Yeah,
I have not seen it. Did you watch it, Wyatt?
I haven't watched it. I
You guys
haven't
haven't
watched
watched
it.
it?
I haven't watched it because because it came out recently, and I've been very busy since it came out.
All right, so we're
So
talking about the Netflix documentary, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp
yeah,
trial.
this is like
Okay.
it's a mini series. It's like 3 episodes, right?
Yeah.
I think it's 4 episodes.
What did you
Okay.
want to talk about this? Because this is
Um. So I first of all, Joe's watched it.
mhm.
Yep.
What were your thoughts, Joe, on how they portrayed this trial?
Uh, so here the main thing is I think the approach of the documentary filmmakers, or at least storytellers of this trial, it's not like they were saying poor Amber, but they were definitely wanting the end result to be Amber did wrong, but also Johnny Depp did wrong too. Let's not forget
Mhm.
that. You know what I mean? Um, and I think if we actually look at this scenario, Amber Heard, and the documentary shows this, she lied constantly, proven that
Mhm.
she lied. It was proven that Johnny Depp did some dark things during the relationship, especially through text message form. He said some really dark things,
Mhm.
but it was ultimately proven that he didn't, like, it was disproven that he was violent, and it was proven that she was. And I
Yeah.
think that is the biggest thing. They spend a lot of time on the fact that the entire world was pro Johnny and against Amber. And I think that's
Mhm.
why the documentary almost would bait and switch you in a way. So it would be like they would get on this train and show all these creators that were following it online and doing their YouTube channels and stuff. And then they would cross shoot it with people watching on their phone, like brushing their teeth. And I was like, that's me. I was like literally at a hotel on a trip. I was getting
Yeah.
ready to work the next morning, and I'm watching Johnny Depp and Amber on trial, like getting ready in the morning, brushing my teeth on my phone. And they would be like, yeah, and Amber Heard, like, she said this crazy stuff and she's the one that abused it. And it's like, yeah, this is what we were all thinking in the moment. And it's like very validating. And then they're like, then they do like that switcheroo thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Where it's like, but it's actually Johnny Depp was found that he was doing something and this, and here's the evidence for it. And you're like,
Mhm.
dang it. So what you're saying, what you're trying to do is to make me feel bad that I was
Right.
on Johnny Depp's team
Inside.
at that moment when Amber Heard was
And
being that way.
I think they did it that way because Johnny Depp won the case.
Mhm.
And so Netflix can't necessarily be biased. They
Yeah.
have to be like, um, here's why you don't need to feel good about being happy for him that he won the case. And I get why they're doing that, but and I'm sure there was a lot of issues, more issues in this relationship than perhaps we know, but
Mhm.
his legal team kind of you know proved that he was not in the wrong.
Yeah.
um
I think the real question I want to know, because I didn't watch the documentary, Joseph. Um, did she do cocaine on the stand? Did she have cocaine in that tissue?
Actually, you know what? They didn't they didn't like they only, so that it was edited in an interesting way, this documentary, because
Yeah.
most of it is, it's not necessarily all like new footage and exclusive interviews that Netflix got. They took everything that was out there already and edited it together in this
Mhm.
story. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Yeah.
So they did, like, there was moments where they would show like the internet's response to something that happened during the trial and
Yeah.
all the memes and everything. People like uploading their TikToks mocking Amber or whatever. And there was a moment that I think they showed a meme or something of her wiping her nose and alluding to the cocaine, but they didn't spend any time on that.
Well,
Yeah.
Really.
it's interesting about how they're kind of making it about both of them and how wrong both of them are. I
Yeah.
think they did that because they didn't want to feel bad about making this documentary and making a bunch of money off of them.
Mhm.
Because that was a lot of the controversy was like, look how much press this is getting. Look how much
Yeah.
support Johnny Depp is getting. Look how much hate she is getting. Now Netflix goes and continues to put eyes on the story.
Mhm.
And they're like, how do we alleviate the um, continuous publicity of this subject and the fact that we are planning on making money off of it?
Right.
Well, we make it sort of unbiased so that we don't
Sort
feel
of.
as bad.
It was so incredibly pro Johnny Depp in culture and anti Amber
Yeah.
Heard
Yeah, you can't
because
ignore it.
it doesn't ignore that, but in some ways it actually kind of makes you it kind of like, especially towards the end, it starts to be like, and if you were pro Johnny Depp 100% and just 100% anti Amber Heard, like you're the butthole. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
And
it
I
kind of makes you feel that way, you know?
they have to put that out there so that they don't sound
They don't
misogynistic or
sound
biased or
right,
whatever.
right.
Mm.
But they actually spent a good bit of time trying to clear her name about the whole money that she was donating to, you know, how the initial divorce settlement of something I think was like $3 million,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And she said that she donated it to some childhood hospital, I believe, or childhood home or child's home or something. And then it was shown in the case that she hadn't given any of that to them or had given like a total of like 20,000 or something to them.
Yeah.
It and it wasn't even close to the amount that she had that she basically on the stand kept saying she pledged it, and they were like, "But you haven't donated it yet." And she was
Mhm.
like, "I have pledged this amount of money. I have donated this amount of money." And they're like, it's different. There's a difference between pledge and donate." And
Yeah.
then Netflix went on this whole sidebar to kind of show that when people who donate a lot of money in increments over the course of like a certain amount of years, like they refer to it as a pledge and it's considered donated, but it's not all donated in one lump sum. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like they went on this long sidebar to try to prove like, well, Amber Heard actually is giving all this money away when in on the stand she was lying essentially by saying that she
Mhm.
gave the money away and she hadn't yet. And they were trying to say, "Oh, she has if she pledges it, it's considered and she's going to give it away over like the next 10 years in small increments." You know what I mean?
Yeah. So would you mind pulling up the IMDb real quick? I
All
just
right.
wanted to make a note, one note or two. Not a ton of information here on the
Mhm.
IMDb. There's, cast. I love cast. Amber Heard self, Johnny Depp self, Nick Viall self. But going down, I think there's a review, at least one review that's like, um, oh, also the did you know referenced connections referenced in Friday Night Tights. On I love that pops up here on IMDb.
DC is still dumb. Lucasfilm
Yeah,
failing. What is this for? What is the did you know part?
that's the title. Yeah, I don't know. It's like here's facts about this. It showed up on famous internet show Friday Night Tights.
I
Um,
gotta. Okay, that's very interesting.
it's got everybody.
Yeah, what? They have
Comics
IMDb
division.
pages.
Oh man, that's funny.
All right, let me go back to this. Um,
Um,
so
yeah, and
the
then
reviews right here. Is this what you're talking about?
yeah, why was this even made? Don't waste your
Watching
time
this
watching
garbage.
this garbage. Why is this featured here on IMDb? Um,
I don't know. Like this comment specifically,
I just
3 out of
thought I
10.
when I went and looked at the IMDb for this because I know a lot of people watched this miniseries, and I started scrolling down. I was like, why is it connecting us to Friday Night Tights? Why are these reviews, the featured reviews here, the negative reviews aren't isn't IMDb supposed to kind of fluff up the thing a little bit?
A little bit.
Or is culture kind of breaking through here on this IMDb page?
I will say this is
What
a
do you
true
think, Josh?
statement.
So it probably, in what I'm just thinking is, there was so much hate on what Joseph was saying, is like them trying to make it even, where they were making pro Amber Heard a little bit, so
Mhm.
that it didn't seem so off-sided with Johnny and Amber Heard type thing, that they had no content, because that's probably the only stuff they got, was just so much, this is garbage because Johnny's
Mhm.
in the right here.
Look,
And
yeah,
so
yeah. This is a
we're
very true statement. Let me read this real quick because I do agree with this. Worst of all, it disrespects the professionalism of the judge and jury who gave their time and insulting any and it's and ins, insulting to
Insulting.
anyone who watched the entire trial and made up their own minds by insinuating the verdict went one way. It did because we were all under the sway of a movie star and social media. Everyone knows justice got served in the case, completely unconvincing rubbish, and the guise of a documentary. I think that's correct because the way it's edited and put together is to basically make you say like it kind of went one way because it's Johnny Depp and everyone loves Johnny Depp and no
So
one likes Amber. You know
so
what I mean?
Josh is saying that the distaste of kind of um Netflix's opinion, or the documentary maker's opinion, is the distaste is shining through for what they made and how they portrayed it, and the fact that they are um, attempting to make money from something like this.
Right.
Also, how much money did this make?
I mean, it's on Netflix, so in theory,
yeah.
did
We don't
people
know.
become a Netflix subscriber because of this?
Yeah,
I don't know.
we don't know how much money this made. And
Mhm.
so, they can talk all they want, I think, about like uh how like televised and dramatized this subject
This
matter
trial
was.
was
Yeah, this
Right.
trial was. And then,
so
they proceed
much.
to continue making money from it.
Right. And that's a good point actually. I don't really know that I think that's the big problem we have. Not that the subscription model is wrong,
Hmm.
but internally you have to decide if something's worth it or not. And so if you have an agenda or you have a specific like money making opportunity you want to try to get at or a political agenda you're trying to get at, that with the current subscription model of entertainment, it doesn't you most a lot of times you don't get a chance to give the public the option to support it or not support it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying. So with something like this that comes out on Netflix, we're like, it's a fine documentary. I'd probably give it like I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10 just because of the cleverness of how everything was edited and summarizes what was going on. However, the end result is kind of talking down to people, you know? And
Yeah.
and so and you don't, like you said, you don't know if they made money off this. And it's the same thing we have with Rings of Power. Amazon doesn't make money from Prime Video, you know what I mean?
Mm.
They make money from ordering from people doing e-commerce. And so they can just keep taking e-commerce money and making garbage. And so there's no longer the demand of the audience on if stuff gets made or not, or the direction of content even.
Yes.
Mhm.
I don't know
Agreed.
where I was going with that, but I feel like it applies to this in some fashion.
Hmm.
It's definitely not speaking for the audience here, this documentary.
Yeah. Which I
It's
think
talking down to
document
the
and
audience.
you know what? I feel like documentaries often don't speak for the audience, and I think maybe they should. Maybe we'll make a documentary that speaks for the audience.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
we can. Oh, you know, it would be awesome if all the Friday Night Tights people or everybody who kind of has a similar view of Hollywood just the anti-Hollywood crap culture on YouTube. All these creators got together and assisted in creating like a 10-part documentary on how terrible Hollywood and the deterioration of Hollywood the
Mhm.
past 20
And
years.
a lot of those people are you know, folks who have been involved in Hollywood, involved in
Yeah.
you know, TV and movies and comic books and things, and
And
have
oh, wouldn't it be
experienced a
awesome?
lot of it, a lot of the
Wouldn't it
bad
be
stuff.
it would be so incredible if literally just a online large group of ragtag creators just created the ultimate smash hit rampage
On
against
Hollywood?
Yeah.
Hollywood
Yeah.
documentary. That'd be so awesome. Because it's
I'm
like the
down for
people
that.
are fighting back and it's not controlled by Hollywood, you know what I mean?
I am down for
Dang.
that.
I mean, this would be the time to put it out with all the
This
strikes
yeah,
going on and
exactly.
stuff.
Dang. Maybe we need to reach out to people and start getting something made.
Just get it moving.